In 8 weeks, I will be trying to run a 5-minute mile and squat 500 pounds on the same day. In this video, I am going to talk you through not only the mile test that I did today, but also how I programmed for my strength work, which got me a 205 kilo back squat for 5 reps the other day. On screen, you're going to be seeing my mile test from today. The goal was to get a 540 mile. The reason this is, and the reason I wanted a 540 mile, is because we have 8 weeks. So I'm testing my mile every 4 weeks. This was the 4th week. In this week, I tested all of my strength work and all of my running. So 540 mile, meaning this week at week 4 would get 540. At week 8, I'd like to get 520. And then it's about trying to get the 5-minute mile on that kind of 12th week after that. This one actually felt way better than the original I did. So the original mile test I did got me a 607 mile. This one, I actually got 548. And I felt a lot better after this one, which kind of signaled to me that I had more to give in the tank. I think a big part of this was the fact that I couldn't pace myself correctly. I never tried to do it, didn't have anything set up on my watch because I don't know what I'm doing, and I had no reminders of where my pace was at. Having someone to follow and someone to chase was a lot easier in the last test, but this one, in the laps that we did, I'm pretty sure it was a 121 on the first 400 meters. I did a 127 on the second 400 meters, and then the final 2 was 130. So obviously the mile test to get a 5-minute mile would have to be minute 15 on each one. Super, super quick. I remember doing this last time and almost dying afterwards, and we got to the kilometer mark and that was me basically done. I felt like my eyes were just, all I could see was black and white spots. Everything was pretty difficult at that point. Whereas in this one, I managed to get round to probably the 1200 meter mark before I started to feel like it really kicking in. And that's part of the reason why I feel like I have more to give. One of the things that I found with this on every single one is that last 400 meters, it feels like there's a weight on your chest and it feels like you cannot breathe properly. About 150 meters out, I checked my watch and it was saying 520. So I knew I had to hustle, which is why the last 150 meters, I'm flailing my arms around because someone told me, I'm pretty sure Mark told me that your cadence and how quick you run a lot of the time is dictated by your arms. So when I was dying, it was just throw your arms and hope as much as possible. In this bit, we're going to talk you through strength progressions. On screen, you're going to be seeing a RPE to percentage conversion chart. This is a chart that I saw in MASS. MASS is monthly applications in strength sports. It's a kind of review that I subscribe to, and they talk about a conversion rate from percentages to RPE. RPE scale is rate of perceived exertion. So every time you do a lift, you see power lifters squat a single, and there we go, RPE 8. RPE 8 basically means that you have 2 more reps that you could do because it was 8 out of 10 difficulty. Another thing you'll hear is RIR, which is reps in reserve. It's very, very similar to RPE. It just means reps in reserve. If I had 2 reps in reserve, that would be the same as an RPE 8, okay? I use this conversion scale to program for me. I like working off of percentages. And the reason is because week to week, we want to try and get more, we want to kind of increase intensity being total weight on the bar. And we want to start to make it more and more difficult. The reason I don't like using RPE, and it's purely kind of individual, is because I find it really difficult to be subjective when I am programming for myself, and subjective, even some clients struggle with it, to be like, this is the weight I should hit for today. My ego takes over and I end up just wanting to lift way more than I probably should. Whereas having direct numbers written out and using that as a guide. So even though there's percentages that I'm following, I'm still using that as a guide for myself to try and mean that this week I come in and the goal is to hit a single at 85%. That may be like 200 kilos or whatever that works out to be. And that weight is just an estimate. It's just a guide that I will use. If I don't feel like I could hit that today, I'll come down, and I will always round up or round down based upon how I'm feeling. The way that I have programmed this is in week 1, so week 1 of the current block I just did, I'm doing a top single on my squat day, and then I'm doing a 5 reps after that, a top set of 5, and then I'm doing another back off set of 5. That top single on week 1 is the top 5 reps that I'm going to be doing on week 2. The reason I've done it that way is because I get to practice the single. So not only do I get to test the weight that's coming up in the next week, I get to practice what it feels like to walk a heavy bar out, do my single and re-rack the bar. Whenever it comes to training, we want to practice what we have to do in competition, and that allows me to practice that. So I'm getting a bit more specific as we're in strength blocks and as we start to get towards this 5-minute test. The rule of specificity basically means that further away from competition you are, the more general you want to be, and the closer to competition you are, the more specific you want to be. And there is loads of different ways that you can kind of see that. But as you can see throughout my weeks, week 1, my top single was 81%, and in week 2, my top set of 5 was 81%, and then that just kind of goes through like that. Weeks 4 is when I did my 5-rep max test, and that's where we got 205 for 5. So the only difference is when I go to do a 5-rep max test, 85% of my 1-rep max is what I would probably get for a 5-rep max. Well, that's what it would estimate and work out to be. But when I'm coming to test it, I don't want to just hit the same number. I don't want to just hit 85% because I want to try and push my estimated 1-rep max on. And the way I would do that is I would go somewhere between 85 and 88% and see what it feels like on the day as I go throughout my warm-up sets. So as I'm going up, I'm seeing how I'm feeling, and if I'm like, I've got that top number today, we're going to go for it, and we're going to go and see if we can get a 5-rep max. The one change that I would make as we actually go through this, or we go through the next block, is to make sure that the top single that I am doing is always a little bit is a bit of a step ahead. So it works out that that top single I do on week 3 is actually the weight that I want to try and hit, the top end weight that I want to try and hit for week 4. And the reason is to practice and get my body used to what that weight feels like. For example, my previous estimated 1-rep max was 232 kilos. And I use the conversion chart, and that would mean that my 5-rep max would be around 85%, and that would be 200 kilos. But because I want to push that on, me going for 205 was actually 88% of that estimated 1-rep max. And what that means is now my estimated 1-rep max is 240. The reason this is good is because hopefully when I do the 500-pound squat and the 5-minute mile, this means the RPE, that rate of perceived exertion, would be around an 8, which would mean it's not just balls to the wall effort, and I'm not just going to be dying afterwards as I go into the run. I should have something in reserve. That's the plan anyway. Weeks 1 to 4, this is the layout and how it works. So again, I have 2 squat days in a week. One of them is a low bar back squat, top single, a set of 5, a top set of 5, and then a back off set of 5. So only 3 sets on that day. And then we have another day where we're doing pulls back squats. In those pulls back squats, we were using 7s rather than 5s. And again, the same thing would happen. We would do a top set of 7, and then we would do some back offs. And we would just increase that week to week. The reason we like to do tests on weeks 4 for both movements, not just the main lift, is because we want to continue to use those percentages based upon our estimated 1-rep max. So having that week 4 test, testing out our low bar back squat and our pulls back squat, very, very beneficial for us as we move forward. Weeks 5 to 8, so this is what's coming up. This is what we're looking at. Weeks 1, I'm going to be doing a single at 83%, okay? And week 2, I'm going to be doing 4-rep max at that 83%. The one difference here, and what you'll see is, in weeks 2, that percentage jump for that single is way higher than what it would be for that 4-rep max in week 3. And the reason that is because we want to get to that point that when I do my 4-rep max test, it's around that 90% mark of my estimated 1-rep max at the time, okay? And then we have the 6s, which we're going to progress on with our pulls back squats. Again, when it comes to programming, when it comes to working out your strength and your progressions over a longer period of time, we want to go from more general training to more specific training, which means that if I'm trying to get a 1-rep max test done, this 16-week block that I've been running currently, I did a 4-week hypertrophy block. I've then done 2 4-week strength blocks. So I just finished the first 4 weeks, that 1 to 4 weeks with the strength block there. I have another strength block, and then I'll go into my peaking phase. So when I'm doing hypertrophy work, I'm going to be looking at doing more machine work. The goal is to build muscle. The sets are going to be more, the reps are going to be higher. It's going to be lighter weight. That's way more general training. And as we get closer towards peaking, we're going to start to kind of be more specific. We're going to be using competition lifts. So really kind of practicing what it's like to do that 1-rep max. Hence the singles and the heavy singles as the weeks go on. We're going to be using lower reps because, again, the goal is to be specific. The specific task that we're trying to do is a top single, as a really heavy 1-rep max. So lower reps is going to benefit that. We're going to be using less sets. And the reason we're going to be doing that is because we want to we cannot have volume high as intensity is high. So as intensity, weight on the bar, gets higher, gets heavier, volume and sets has to come down. And again, heavier weights as we go through. So weeks 1 to 4, or this current block, this 12-week block as we get ready for this, I've been using 5 reps and using 8 sets total work across my lower body. Weeks 5 to 8 is 6 total sets across my lower body work, but we're doing 4 reps. And then weeks 9 to 12, we will be using anywhere from 1 to 3 reps, and we will be doing only 4 total sets of lower body work. So sets are coming down, weights increasing, reps are coming down because we're getting heavier as we go. Working from general on weeks 1 to 4 to specific on weeks 9 to 12. So in 8 weeks, I will be doing a 500-pound squat and a 5-minute mile. The next 4 weeks, I am going to be bringing in hill sprints for my Tuesday session. I will be doing some longer form zone 2 cardio, either on machines or running, depending on how my body's feeling. And I'll be still doing the interval work on the track. I'm quietly confident that after this next 4-week block, I will hit that 520 mile, but we will see in 4 weeks, and you can either laugh or you can applaud, depending upon what we get. If you want to follow along, hit the subscribe button. My name's Charlie. This is Hack the Body, Hack the Mind. We will see you on the next one.